Hey y'all, N4H&H here. I haven't shot an FT8 video in a while, and well, it's Friday night. I listened on HF a little bit with the FTDX 5000 MP. Didn't hear a lot going on that interested me, and so I decided, okay, you know what? I'll try a little FT8. I probably haven't operated FT8 in a couple of months. So there's the FTDX 10. And if you watched my video about simplified FT8 operation, you're about to see it in action. Okay, so I just turned the rig on. I'm going to tap my band button here and select 7. Okay, so it loads a band stack for single sideband LSB. I'll double tap it here. Now, those of you who do not have the version of firmware I have cannot do the double tap. You'll have to tap band and function. Okay, I can do that as well, but I can do it with double tap. So 150, 7032 CW, 7074. So I'm using all 3 band stacks. I'll double tap again, starts over, 7150, 7.032. Remember, the cool thing about these band stacks is that they memorize everything you've done as far as the filter settings, roofing filter selection, all those sorts of things. So that's a really cool thing about it. So because of that, the simplified FT8 video comes into play. So if you haven't seen that one, go back on the channel and look for it. It's from within the last couple of months. So I'm going to double tap again. Well, I'll do it the way you do it with the newer radios. Band function. Band function. See, and there I am at a band stack that I have left set up for FT8. I've got 6 dB of attenuation. I'll be switching up to the big screen in a minute, and you'll see all of that. But anyway, so IPO, 3 kilohertz roofing filter. And so just wanted you to see that's the first thing I do. So I go through for every band that you will operate FT8 on, and set up one of the band stack registers for data U. You see them, well, you'll see it on the big screen here in a minute, but it's data U 7.074. So I'm ready to go. Now, bear with me a moment, and I'm going to move the camera. There's the monitor that's displaying what's on the FTDX10 display. And that's an old LG monitor I had in the closet when I got the FTDX10, and I realized that, that I needed an actual DVI-D monitor so I could use a DVI-D cable on both ends, just to be on the safe side, because there's been issues trying to use adapters. So I just happened to have that one, plugged it in, and it's been playing ever since, I guess, around April or May of 2021. So there you can see I'm set with 6 dB of attenuation. IPO is enabled, 3 kilohertz roofing filter. AGC is on auto. And I've got the multi turned on so that I can see the oscilloscope in the lower left and the AFFT, the audio frequency fast Fourier transform, showing action on the spectrum there, activity. And I'm set for 1 millisecond per division on that oscilloscope, which will help me see the FT8 waveform clearly. Now, with that in place, I switch over to this monitor, and I'm going to load WSJTX. Okay, so it's a on the menu down here at lower left. So here we go. And who knows, as I film this, maybe I'll work one of you. The glow up there in the upper left right here, that's not on the monitor, that's from a light that's shining down so you could see the radio buttons. I can turn that off here in a minute. Okay, so now WSJTX is what has awakened. It's on 7.074 because, well, I already had 7.074 up on the radio. And by the way, I'd made no menu changes. I did not go in there and tap preset because I'm running firmware version V01-04, which does not have the preset. The preset was put in there as training wheels for those who didn't want to spend enough time going through the menu and set up a couple of, and really it's just a couple of things in the menu. And I show that in the FT8 simplified video. So I'm ready to go. Now I will Additionally, and those of you who are Patreon support team members who are executive or VIP level, you have my FT8 configuration document, or have access to it, for both the FTDX10 and the FT710 AESS. And in that document, I talk about the importance of time synchronization, and I talk about this JT Sync that I'm loading now. And once it brings up on the loads on the screen. And by the way, these things are positioning themselves where they were the last time I used them. And then I'll hit listen. And now the JT Sync is going to be looking at the same thing that the WSJTX is looking at, and it's going to allow is in fact going to show see the DT column up here. See if you can see my mouse moving. DT, delta time. That's letting me know how far off in time the station that is listed there is from my clock. Okay, now I'm going to temporarily switch over to this monitor and show you something you can do. I'm going to go to time.is. Just open a browser, time.is. Your time is exact. That's what you want to see. Somebody out there will watch this video and go, hey, you don't have to exactly be at 0815. No, it's the seconds that matter. But hey, you know what? Just try to get your clock right. Now you can do that through, Windows has a tool that'll go out there and synchronize. Or I'm going to switch back over to the big monitor up there. And so this app, JT Sync, has the ability right here. There's a little symbol here, this clock, that can actually go out and synchronize for you, synchronize time with NTP. So it's going out and checking. And so I'm going to click Get, looking up time at google.com, client destination date, blah, 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 local clock offset. So round trip delay, 0.002 seconds. Click Set to synchronize. So I can click Set, and it wants to know if I'm going to allow that. Yes, I am. And so now that software has helped me ensure that I'm dead on it with the time. All right, so now we'll move back over here so you can see that screen. All right, so I'm going to find a blank area up here. Looks like my transmit's already down there around 400. I guess that's where I was last time. And received, the little green bars up here in the far right. It's up here around 25 something. 2458. So transmit's down at 355. But I see this nice area right here below 2400. I'm going to go ahead and hold my control key, left click my mouse, and now my transmit and my receive are set there. Because what you're looking at there is the roughly 3 kilohertz of spectrum that we have available there. And so the thing about FT8 is you can have multiple QSOs going on within the 3 kilohertz spectrum. And remember, the yellowish is those are in the orange. Those are signals. The more orange they are, the stronger they are. So no one is transmitting in this area here, so I'm good to go there. I'm going down here and I'm setting the whole TX frequency, so I won't move. I'll park right there and stay there, and I'm going to enable TX. And so I will be sending a CQ here in the next cycle. The radio is set at 100 watts. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, Doug, Yaesu recommends that you not run over 50% power when you're doing FT8. And that is true. You aren't supposed to do more than 50 watts with a 100 watt rig. But if you set this up properly, I already got a taker. W4IOE. And wow, he's a plus 11. If you set it up, those of you who have access through the Patreon portal to that the FT8 configuration documents, if you go through there and set it up that way, you actually control your power output, not with the radio's power knob. So see, this FT8 simplified, you don't even mess with the power knob. I mean, I haven't done anything. I haven't gone into a menu. The power's still set on 100 watts from when I was working the CW on 20 meters. So the way I'm controlling the power, and I'll show you here in a minute over on the other screen, but the way I'm controlling the power is with the power slider in WSJTX, okay? See my mouse? It's right here. So how does that control the power of the radio? Because technically this is data U, data upper sideband. So what we're doing is we're sending an audio signal just like we do our voice, okay? Log him at 50 watts. We're sending a, let me go ahead and hit the CQ again. So we're sending a audio message over to the transmitter through the USB port in the back, okay? But it's really, you know, FT8, 8 tones, FT4, 4 tones. We're modulating the USB transmitter. In fact, on some radios that didn't really come naturally set up for FT8, you can sort of fool them into working by simply modulating through like a rear mic port or something like that, by modulating USB. So data U is really modulating a USB signal. So think about it. The louder you talk into your microphone on sideband, the stronger your signal. The softer you talk, the less your signal. So that power slider is controlling the amount of audio level going to the transmitter, and so I can control my power output right there. Now that said, I'll pan over to the big monitor that's displaying the radio information, and I'm going to tap on the screen here and switch it over to PO, power output, and I'm transmitting right now. Oh, it just finished. You'll see it next time. It was right around 50 watts. And that's because I've got the power sliders. I went through that. If you go through that document, I have you set it up to where with the power slider all the way to the top, you get 100 watts. And it's all about getting the audio level set right. Yeah, we're just a bit over 50 watts there. And I'm going to tell you a little something you'll notice as you play with this. Depending upon where in the spectrum you're transmitting, that will change. It might be 48 watts, 51 watts, 52 watts. So that's another, don't get thrown off by that. But so back to what I was saying is with the power slider all the way up, when you're setting all this up, it's all about the audio levels and balancing the input setting, the input gain, or port gain in the radio menu, as well as the amount of audio coming from the sound card in the computer. You get that set up right, and if you slide the power slider up to maximum, I'll do that. I'll pan over here so you can see that power slider. Okay, watch my mouse. Don't try this at home. I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way to the top. Now watch what happens when I transmit next. See, I'm right near 100 watts, and that's not good. So I'm going to turn the power slider down. Now get this. You guys have passed your ham test, so you probably know this. If I go down to negative, you can either pick 2.9 or 3.1 dB of cut. There we go. So negative 3.1 dB. So you guys know 3 dB either doubles your power or cuts it in half. So with the power supplier, I went down to negative 3.1, and now I'm going to cut my power down to about 50 watts. You can see right there it's 50 watts. If I go down to negative 6 dB, I will cut my power down to around 25 watts. So that's the proper way to do this. And what does that do? Well, it ensures that you are not transmitting any harmonics. You're not trashing up the band, okay, with harmonics. So that's one of the reasons you do that. Oh, got him. Got another one. So let me reach over here and log that one. See, and I've got the transmit power set 50 because that's what I'm approximately running. And honestly, with that meter on the radio, it could be off of water too anyway. So I went ahead and called that 50, and I've got WSJTX configured to where it automatically pops up the logging window there. All right, so enable TX. Let's do it again. Thank you, WC2F. That was the last station I worked. So if you're one of the people that I worked, well, make a comment in this video and let me know. Don't know when this video will air. Right now, this is near the end of March, but this video may not air until June. But I've got a lot of footage shot, trying to find time to edit. Getting a bit of a time crunch here, but anyway, there we go. I'm transmitting again, and notice the sine wave over here. See, nice and clean, no flat topping. That's what you want. If you don't know what flat topping is an indication that you are creating distortion. And in those instructions I was mentioning, you know, one of the things you'll do is watch your ALC meter to ensure that it is not moving up off zero. As a matter of fact, I'll pan over there, and we'll change the meter. Tapping the meter, changing it over to ALC, and when I transmit again, you do not want the ALC meter to move off zero. Now remember, with sideband, that is fine. You want it to go almost to the blue, but not to the blue. You know, just slightly below that line that divides the white and the blue down there on the bottom. Honestly, if you look at the top scale, when you're talking sideband, if you get up to around the S9 on that top scale, you're good. But with this, notice the ALC meter is not moving. I am transmitting there. That's what you want. If that ALC meter starts to move up much at all, you can start producing some distortion. And that makes it a little more difficult for everybody else on the band. You just don't want to do that. You can transmit harmonics. So we want to keep it clean. Oh, got to log another one. And thank you. Thank you there. Let's see. Log him. That was N4MM, November 4 Mike. So thank you there, November 4 Mike. Let me pan back over here. All right, we'll make a few more contacts here before I close out the video. I'll go ahead and enable TX again. See, it automatically starts over at CQ. And I'm still parked in the same place that I began, because I've got the whole TX frequency box here, right here. I've got it selected. Right there, you saw that little pop up right there. That way I'm holding my position. Now I have had, and it's just an accident, I'm sure, I've had people chase me there, and in fact, the green box, I noticed the green box, the receive, that last station, N4MM, actually transmitted right where I am. And so that means that, you know, and I'm not saying he would do it, but I have had it happen, and sometimes it's an accident, I'm sure. They decide, okay, I'm not chasing anybody anymore. I want to call CQ myself, and then they just start calling CQ, and they start calling CQ right where they transmitted at last, which is where I'm parked. So as a courtesy, you want to double check yourself and make sure that you don't transmit there and start calling CQ after you work somebody there. Because basically, if you will, I rented that little spot of spectrum there for this operating session. As long as I have the whole TX frequency selected, that's where I want to hang out. Now, the others can transmit anywhere up and down the spectrum they want to. They could pick, I'm looking right now, it looks like 700 hertz in the spectrum is available. So somebody could park there and leave their whole TX frequency selected, and then I would be hearing them at 700 hertz in the spectrum, and they would be listening to me at 2350, which is where I am right now. I'm just putting my meter back on SWR. I always leave it on SWR. I want an instantaneous visual of any antenna problems. I trust the antenna. I'm using the ZS6BKW right now. It's my best 40 meter antenna. Looks like I had two come back at the same time. So it looks like we're catching the N3 Whiskey Yankee Golf first. N3 Whiskey Yankee Golf. And the other one is KR5 Triple E. That's pretty cool. Kilo Romeo 5 Triple E. So we'll try to get him next. So right now I'm responding to N3 WYG, November 3 Whiskey Yankee Golf. So thanks y'all for chasing here. And you know, you've probably seen in some of the previous videos, I like to use dark mode. There's a way to turn that on in WSJTX. Oh, here we go. Got him. Now I could double click on the other one, but I'll just hit the enable TX again in CQ, and then he'll probably chase me. The dark mode is there's a trigger that you can set up over in Windows on that icon that I click to bring it up, and it'll put it into dark mode. That is also covered in my setup PDF. But if you go to the WSJTX site and read through their manual, there's a spot in there. That's where I found it. Oh, well, looks like somebody different came back to me. All right, I'm going to have to go back and double click on that KR5 Triple E. Hopefully he'll still be there to try to get him. Looks like so far everybody's transmitting right where I am, so they haven't, maybe they're just chasing and they haven't staked out their own little territory. And that's fine. You just want to make sure you don't come back and then start calling CQ yourself where the station you just chased was. Well, he was strong, plus 14, K4YJ. Well, this video is already 22 minutes. Time flies. So I'll try to wrap this up. Well, I'll wrap it up while I talk to you. I hope you got out of it what I wanted you to see. I wanted you to, there we go. I wanted you to see simplified FT8, went straight from CW to working FT8 by just using a band stack register, firing up WSJTX, and then, you know, optionally I put up the JT sync. And everything was already set. The power slider, even though the radio is set to 100 watts, the power slider is only sending it enough audio level to produce about 50 watts. So that's it. And when I'm done with this operating session, if the video wasn't getting so long, I'd actually show you. I would just literally just turn off WSJTX and go over to my band stack and tap band and function, or in my case, double tap band. Wish Yaesu would put that feature back in the rigs, but they took it out starting around firmware 05 or 06. I'm running 04. I'll just go back over there and change band stacks, and I'm ready to go on sideband again. There's no preset for me to try to remember to turn off. Remember, there have been issues. I get so many questions about it. If you have been operating FT8 and then you want to go do sideband and you forget to disable the preset, it can do some strange things. For example, if you try to use your message memories for sideband, and it'll look like it's transmitting, but you get no audio out, and it's simply because the preset was left turned on. So I don't even need the preset. I went into my menu, and oh, I got him. I got the KR5 Triple E. I went into my menu and set up. You know, it's just a couple of things, 2 or 3 things in there you set and forget, and that's covered in the PDF. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm getting him. He's a plus 06. Very, very good. No, let's see. Wait a minute. Sorry. Minus 15. He gave me a plus 06 with 50 watts of power. How about that, guys? There we go. We got him logged. So there you go. Simplified FT8. Now, one other thing I guess I'll add into this. I know the video's getting long, but hey, I haven't done an FT8 video in a while. Humor me. If you want to change bands, now you know you can do it with WSJTX. But doing my simplified FT8, I'll just show you a little secret I do, is I will just tap the band and tap the button and go to the band I want to go to. See, it's over on CW, and I'm just going to double tap band, and I'm at 14074. So there I am, ready to go, 14074, and WSJTX, if you notice, is on 14074. So the radio told WSJTX where I was, and how do they say in England? Bob's your uncle. I'm ready to go. Well, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully you learned something from it. And if you did, well, comment and say so. I appreciate that. I can't respond to every comment, but I would appreciate seeing that you found the video helpful. Okay, I hope you found the video helpful and informative. Thank you to the Patreon support team who bring you these videos. If you're watching a video now, it's because of what I call the long haulers. They've joined through the Patreon program and supported this channel for a year and 2 and even more. Those long haulers are what, funds the channel enough that I can keep these videos coming. So I appreciate any level you can help, though. There are 3 levels of support. You can find one that's comfortable for you if you like this type of content and want to see it continue. You can vote, as they say, vote with your wallet, to help offset the cost of doing this. To join that team, go to www.patreon.com/N4HNH. That's patreon.com/N4HNH. And if you would, give the video a thumbs up, a like. That helps us out with YouTube's search algorithm and costs you nothing, and you're actually helping the channel by doing that. And also consider subscribing to the channel. That helps as well. If you do subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video, usually 2 a week, occasionally a third. And also, finally, if you would, please share the link to this video on social media, text message, email, or phone a friend. Hey, thanks again for watching, and 73 from N4HNH.